So the pricing for the Rivian R2 is finally out, and this is really important because this is the Rivian that we're expecting to see around the world, and the Rivian to become popular and make the Rivian brand a mainstream. And the pricing, well, I'm a bit confused about it because it was said that it was supposed to be $45,000 for the base model, but when I look it up, it's over $48,000. But still, for that price, it does seem like a pretty good car. Now, it has 350 horsepower, it has 350 miles of claim range, so I'm guessing realistically it would be over 250. And I guess that's okay. Although I feel like it could have done with a bit more range, but still for the price, it's okay. And then there's two other models, the premium and the performance. So the premium, well, that gets more horsepower, 450 horsepower, and honestly, that horsepower, I feel like that's more than enough. I don't think you really need more than that for this vehicle. Now 350, it's okay, but 450 is good. But it seems like the range goes down, and that's a bit disappointing because the claim range seems to be 330 miles now. So I'm guessing over 230 miles, and that is a bit disappointing. I was hoping for a bigger battery pack for this version, but I'm guessing it's probably the same battery pack, and because it's using more power, the range does diminish a bit. But yeah, I guess it's okay again. And then there's the performance version, and this is probably the big one, the exciting one, and that's has 650 horsepower, and that's is power. You can really compete with that kind of power when you're driving. So that's a really great amount of power, and the pricing is what, $57,000 or $58,000, somewhere around that. And at that price point, yeah, it's good. For considering that this is an SUV, a smaller SUV, but still an SUV with that kind of power, it's awesome. But again, the range, it has a claim range of 330 miles. So, okay, for that car at least, okay, now I'm a bit confused. So I'm guessing, does the 650 horsepower version have a bigger battery pack? And that's why I can get the same claim range as the 450 horsepower car. I'm a bit curious about that. But anyway, the car at that price does seem good, and it's probably going to end up competing with the Tesla Model Y. And that's, well, compared to that, the design, this is more appealing because everyone wants the big boxy SUV design. And the Tesla Model Y, as good as it was, the design, it does feel a bit outdated now. Just the basic silhouette of the design, and the boxy design is in, and that's what everyone wants, and the Rivian has that. But the range, I feel like that is a bit of a problem, because I mean, if this thing had greater range for the performance model, that would have been huge. If it had 450 miles of range, that would have been huge. So if it had 450, you could claim range, at least you could assume 350 usable, and it would have honestly been a no-brainer. But this range, I feel like it's a bit too low. But still, the Rivian R2, it is probably going to be a really good product, and people are going to love it. And this is the model that I heard that was going to be global, and it's going to be sent out everywhere. So I'm guessing it will come to India at some point. And it will be interesting to see what the pricing of that car would be. Now, hopefully, it's not the same kind of pricing as the Tesla Model Y, because if that's the case, I mean, Rivian's gonna have a tough time here. But in the US, at least, it's under $60,000. Seems like a pretty good deal, and people do have a good opinion about Rivian from the R1. So yeah, I think this Rivian is gonna be a big hit. Although the 650 horsepower version, the range, I am curious to see what the actual real world range would be, because if the battery pack is the same and they just did some tuning or adjusting to get that range, I don't think it's gonna get that range, the realistic range anyway. So that would be interesting to see. But the middle version, I feel like that could have gotten a bigger battery pack and given us more range. I mean, a big range option. Honestly, I feel like this vehicle is gonna end up having a long range option be added to it at some point, because the range, it is a big deal, and there is a long range option missing in this lineup. So I'm guessing maybe a long range version shows up that's similar in price to the performance but has really good range and probably has 450 horsepower. I think that would be the sweet spot, and I feel like that should have been here all along, but maybe they couldn't. I mean, Rivian is not a big huge company, so maybe they have some limitations, but the say to see. But yeah, overall the Rivian R2, I think with this pricing, it seems like a promising vehicle, and the vehicle, from what I've seen so far, it honestly seems like a great vehicle. And the R1, people seem to love the R1, so yeah, the Rivian R2, I think this is gonna be a huge success.